4 ways brands can reduce climate impact. Humanity faces no bigger threat than climate change, and the fashion industry needs to take responsibility for our role in warming the planet. The fashion industry was responsible for 2.1 billion metric tons of GHG emissions in 2018, according to McKinsey Fashion on Climate Report. To put things in perspective, the annual greenhouse gas emissions of the fashion industry equals the annual emissions from economies of France, Germany, and the UK combined. The fashion industry produces 2 to 4% of man-made CO2 emissions annually, which is more than global aviation. Reaching net zero emissions will require far-reaching changes in human activity, which in fashion terms includes changing both the way we produce clothes and how we consume them. Beyond the raw materials stage, the energy used in manufacturing, transporting, packaging, and selling a garment all contribute to its carbon footprint. But the climate impact does not stop at the shop. What happens during a garment's lifetime also contributes, as too does the end of its life. It is estimated that fewer than 1% of garments are made into new clothes, with only around 15% of clothing being recycled at all. The rest go into landfill or get incinerated. The first way to reduce climate impact is switch raw materials. With raw materials making up the majority of a garment's climate impact, switching fabrics can help. According to Textile Exchange, mechanically recycled polyester generates 70% less emissions than new polyester. Outdoor apparel brand Patagonia have long been known for their use of recycled polyester, but other big players are getting in on the act. A comprehensive life cycle assessment by the Textile Exchange showed that switching from conventional to organic cotton can cut global warming potential by 46%. The second way is make energy savings along the value chain. Beyond the materials stage, firms can reduce energy use in their warehouses, stores, and offices. ASOS cut its electricity use in one warehouse by 76% by switching to energy-efficient light bulbs. Sensors that turn lights off in empty rooms can help too. Finding efficiencies at the transport and logistics stages can help businesses help the environment. When Hugo Boss analyzed the carbon footprint of their transport operations, they realized switching from air to rail freight could cut emissions by 95%. The third way is recycle. Investing in systems to reuse rather than throw away clothes. Brands have a role to play in educating consumers about repairing and recycling their clothes, like Nudie Jeans patched up more than 44,000 pairs of jeans in 2016. Several brands have in-store collection points for garments at the end of their life, which can be recycled or resold for charity. Wastage during the production stage needs to be taken seriously too. In 2014, Cambodian fashion brand Tonle kept 70 tons of Colorado 2 from entering the atmosphere by processing pre-consumer waste. The fourth and final way is rethink. Change the disposable fast fashion culture. Ultimately, for the fashion industry to make a positive impact on the climate, the culture of fashion needs to change. The necessary reductions in GHG emissions will not be possible unless we produce less, buy a lot less, and get much better at handling the end-of-life stage of garments. We must stop thinking of clothes as disposable, and adopt circular fashion principles that treat the life cycle of a garment as a closed loop. Creating an ecosystem that promotes and invests in new ways of thinking has to be part of the industry's toolkit for tackling climate change. Key takeaways. Limiting the damage from climate change requires cutting net greenhouse gas emissions to zero by 2050, and every industry has a part to play. The fashion industry is responsible for around 2 to 4% of all man-made greenhouse gas emissions, and that percentage is set to grow. Most emissions come from raw materials, so improving the way we produce polyester and cotton could have a huge impact. Challenging the current fast fashion ethos of the industry is going to be essential in the fight against global warming.